Hmm, self-awareness. Lot of people talk about it. But what does it really mean? Are there different types of self-awareness? Our hosts examine a blog post by Susan Williams and explain the 4 types of self-awareness, how to integrate them, and make them a part of our daily life to foster inner peace.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into something I know a lot of you are interested in. Self-awareness.
Yeah, it's one of those buzzwords you hear everywhere, right?
Totally. And while a lot of us know it's important, a lot of us aren't really sure
Yeah,
what it actually means or
Right.
even where to start.
absolutely.
So today we're going to break it down.
Love it.
We're going to unpack 4 distinct types of self-awareness.
Okay.
And we're going to look at what each one means.
Sounds good.
And most importantly, how we can actually develop them
Yes.
in our everyday lives.
Love that.
And for this deep dive, our guide is Susan Williams.
Okay.
She's a woman who, through her own experiences, embraced mindfulness and spirituality. And she shares her insights through her blog.
Great.
And I'm especially excited about this one because she actually spent some time at an ashram in India
Wow.
learning about these concepts. So,
Interesting.
she's got some really
Yeah.
unique insights to share.
Fascinating.
So let's jump right in with the first type,
Hmm?
intrapersonal self-awareness.
Okay.
This one is all about understanding our own inner world. So our thoughts,
Yeah.
our feelings,
Our value.
our values, our motivations.
Oh, that.
It's basically like having an inner owner's manual.
I love that analogy. It's so true. And I think as we get older,
Yeah,
our priorities often shift, and understanding that inner landscape becomes even more crucial. It's like Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom.
yes, exactly. And Susan offers some great practical tips for actually cultivating this awareness. So one of the things she emphasizes is self-reflection. So really taking the time to ask yourself those big questions, like what do I truly believe in? What are my core values? What motivates me? Those kind of questions that sometimes we might shy away from, but are so important to really understand ourselves.
Right, and journaling can be a really powerful tool for that too.
Absolutely.
Just getting those thoughts and feelings out on paper helps us to process them and maybe even identify patterns that we wouldn't have noticed otherwise.
Yeah, and she also talks about meditation, which has become so popular in recent years.
It has.
And for good reason, right?
Yeah.
Because it allows us to...
To observe our thoughts without judgment.
Yeah.
To create some space between us and our thoughts.
Exactly. And what I find encouraging about these techniques is they can be adapted to fit anyone's lifestyle. You don't have to go to an ashram or spend hours in silent meditation. You can just take a few minutes each day to just sit quietly with yourself or jot down your thoughts in a journal. And over time, even those small efforts can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Consistency is key, right?
Yeah.
It's like building a muscle. The more we practice, the stronger our self-awareness becomes.
Exactly. So now let's move on to the second type of self-awareness, which is interpersonal self-awareness.
Okay.
This one is all about understanding how we relate to others.
Right.
So how our words and actions
Affect the people around us.
affect the people around us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Susan really emphasizes the importance of cultivating empathy.
Yeah, that's so crucial.
And one technique she suggests is something called empathy exercises. Actually trying to step into someone else's shoes and see the world from their perspective.
Which can be challenging.
It can be challenging,
And some
especially as we age.
Yeah,
As relationships evolve and change over time.
absolutely. And active listening is also essential here. Truly hearing what others have to say without interrupting or imposing our own thoughts and opinions.
Yeah,
That can be so powerful.
it can. And, Susan also points out that sometimes it can be really difficult to see ourselves objectively.
Oh, for sure.
So she suggests that we actually seek feedback from others. Have the courage to ask people we trust
Yeah.
for their honest opinions about how we come across.
It can be tough to hear sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's so valuable.
It is. And I think these practices can be particularly beneficial as we get older, as family dynamics shift and relationships take on new meaning.
Absolutely. The ability to communicate effectively and to empathize with others becomes even more important.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to the third type, behavioral self-awareness.
Right.
This one is all about understanding our actions, right? So recognizing patterns in our behavior and making conscious choices.
That are aligned with our values.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that we have agency in how we show up in the world.
Yes. And Susan suggests a really helpful practice here, which is setting intentions. So before you take action, before you make a decision or engage in a particular behavior,
Take a moment to pause.
take a moment to pause and think about what your goal is
Yeah.
and how you want to behave in that situation.
And that way you're more likely to act in ways that are consistent with your values.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She also advocates for mindfulness practices, paying attention to our actions in the moment rather than just operating on autopilot.
It's so easy to just go through the motions without really thinking about what we're doing.
It is. It is. And then she also talks about behavior tracking,
Okay.
which can be really helpful for identifying unhelpful patterns in our behavior. Like, for example, you could track your daily activities for a week
Yeah.
and see how much time you're spending on things that truly matter versus things that are just draining your energy.
That's such a good idea. I'm going to try that.
Me too. And you know what I think is so powerful about this kind of awareness is that it gives us a sense of control,
Yes.
right? Like we're not just victims of our circumstances. We can actually choose how we respond to things.
Absolutely. It's empowering, isn't it?
It really is. And finally, we come to the fourth type, emotional self-awareness.
Okay.
This is all about recognizing,
Yeah.
understanding, and managing our emotions effectively.
Right. And this is especially important, I think, as we age, because our emotional landscape can become more complex, with all the changes and transitions we go through.
Yeah, hormonal shifts, life experiences,
Absolutely.
loss, grief.
All of that.
It's a lot.
It is.
So Daniel Goleman, who's a leading expert on emotional intelligence, he says you can't control or change something you're not aware of.
That's so true.
So powerful. And that really highlights why emotional self-awareness is so crucial.
Absolutely. It's the foundation for everything else.
Yes. So Susan suggests several practical tools for developing this awareness. One is to just do regular emotional check-ins. So throughout the day, just pause for a moment and notice how you're feeling. Just name your emotions, Like, okay, I'm feeling stressed right now, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling joyful, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just acknowledging those emotions can be really helpful.
It brings awareness to them, right?
Exactly. She also recommends emotional journaling, which is kind of similar to regular journaling, but you're specifically focusing on your emotions.
Right.
So writing about how you're feeling.
Exploring those feelings in more depth.
Exactly. Maybe trying to identify what triggered those emotions. And then, of course, mindfulness meditation can also be incredibly helpful for this
Of course.
because it allows us to observe our emotions
Yes.
without getting swept away by them.
Without judgment.
Exactly. Now, I know we've covered a lot here,
We have.
but it's important to remember that these four types of self-awareness, well, they're distinct. They're not meant to be approached in isolation.
Right. They're all interconnected.
They are. They all work together
They do.
to create a more holistic understanding of ourselves.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Recognizing your thoughts and feelings, which is that interpersonal awareness,
Yeah,
can actually inform how you relate to others,
right.
which is your interpersonal awareness.
Exactly. And being aware of your actions, which is that behavioral awareness,
Yeah.
can have a direct impact on your emotions, which is that emotional awareness.
So it's all connected.
It's all connected. It's like a beautiful tapestry.
I love that.
Each thread is woven together
Yeah.
to create a richer, more intricate whole.
Beautiful. It's like having a compass, to guide us through the transitions and changes that come with aging.
And you know what I really appreciate about Susan's approach is that she emphasizes that self-awareness isn't about turning inward and becoming self-absorbed.
Right.
It's about using that understanding to live a more beautiful and connected and meaningful life.
Exactly. It's about deepening our relationships, making choices that are aligned with our values, and navigating life's ups and downs with a little more grace and resilience.
Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to Time for Tranquility, and click the notification bell for updates. Take care and stay tranquil.
This has been such an insightful discussion. I feel like I've gained a much deeper understanding of self-awareness and how it can apply to our lives.